motion be agreed to, and I call the member for Riverina.
Oh, here we go again, just another Labor motion taking credit for the sun coming up. I mean, it's just a nonsense, this whole notion and motion that somehow Labor is there for the worker, the low-paid worker. Well, you know, just you ask someone like Bruce Billson. Now, he was, and I hear those scoff. I hear those scoff. Bruce Billson is a friend of the worker, and he's a friend of small business, and no one should criticise the role he plays with the Australian Small Business and Family Enterprise Ombudsman. And he quite correctly pointed out in an August 8 release of a report, Energising Enterprise, 14 steps to improve small and family business. Small and family business, which I might add, employs some 2.5 million people, generates nearly $600 billion of economic activity, and we know that almost 98% of businesses in Australia are small. Small business provides jobs for 5.36 million people, 42% of the private workforce. And what ASBIFIO is doing is making sure that those small businesses can employ more people, because at the end of the day, that's the name of the game. And yet, go out and ask those people who work for small businesses, not necessarily the person who runs the small business, but those people who work for the small business, are they any better off now than what they were prior to May 2022? And you'll get a resounding no. A resounding no, because we look at some of the figures that those low-paid and other workers are confronting. Food has gone up by 11%, housing by 15%. That's if you can get a house. That's if you can find rent. Electricity by 22%. And we heard the Prime Minister, no less than the Prime Minister, on 97 occasions prior to the election, talking about a $275 pay cut to energy prices, to power bills. Where did that go? I mean, where did that go? And yes, Labor go, oh yes, well, we're doing $300, because they picked a figure that was just slightly over $275 and then introduced it 2 long years after they've been in power. I can see those opposites smiling because they know that it's the truth. They know what I'm saying is correct. Gas has gone up by 25%, health by 11%, and that's important. That is important because if you actually get health right, you get the people being far happier than what they are now. Education by 11%, financial and insurance by 17%. That's if you can get it, because some of the insurers aren't that prepared to always pay for services in those flood zones. And Labor comes in with one of these motions talking about, oh, the sun's shining and, you know, it all's fantastic and everybody's happy and the birds, they're shrill in the trees. But it's not right, because people are they've far less disposable income now than what they had when the coalition was in government. And we hear the Treasurer so often say, and all the talking points, it just does my head in, Speaker, sometimes, that they'll come in and go, oh, the Liberal Party, $1 trillion worth of debt. Well, it's not just the Liberal Party, it was actually a coalition helped by the Nationals. And what we did, just listen, this is important, what we did is we saved people's lives during COVID. That's why a lot of money was spent, was saving, yes, Member for Crangamite, it was saving people's lives. And but for that assistance, people would have lost their jobs. There would have been soup kitchen queues and unemployment queues longer than there were in the Great Depression, and there would have been homelessness would have been terrible, and let alone the health outcomes for the nation. We saved people's lives, and nobody in this room was in those meetings that I attended when the Chief Medical Officer said we will lose tens of thousands of people within weeks if something isn't done, and we did it. We did it, and we should be acknowledged for that. Instead of coming in with these silly notions and silly motions talking about how good we are and puffing out our chest and saying, well, aren't we good? You know, low-paid workers are being looked after. Well, they're not being looked after because they have far less money than what they had prior to May 2022. Shame on you all.